All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome here to day number 2 in Iowa City for the Jingle Cross event. I'm Colt McElwain, and you guys are watching Behind the Barriers TV. Now, if you saw yesterday's episode, last night's race, it was freezing. It got down to right around 20 degrees, ice everywhere on people's faces, on the course. It was nasty. Now, today we come out here Saturday afternoon. The sun is out a little bit. It's mostly overcast, but this is the big one, guys, the UCI C1 event. Again, big points, big prize money, and the big riders will be here this afternoon. Now, on the women's side, Katarina Nash going for her third UCI C1 in 3 weeks here. She's been pretty much, well, she has been undefeated in this last month of racing, but Courtney McFadden, Meredith Miller, Caroline Money, all going to try to have something to say about that. On the men's side, our U.S. national champ, Jeremy Powers, will be here, the Rafa Focus rider, trying to get back on top after last week's loss in the C1 to Danny Summerhill. Summerhill not here, Tim Johnson, a few other guys not in attendance. But maybe the one rider you should look to that might challenge Powers today will be Logan Owen, the young rider from Cal Giant Strawberries. He rode very well here last year. It's a course that suits him. And even last weekend in Louisville, he was right there for most of the race with Summerhill and Powers. So the course today is good. The riders are going to be good. They've changed it up a little bit, but it's still very technical. And the most exciting thing for me personally is there's a little bit of snow in the forecast. So just around that women's and men's race, there's about a 70% chance that we could get some powder on the course. That could change everything. Now let's go take a look at that course now. Here now with your day 2 course preview. These are one of the marquee features here at Jingle Cross. These are the Yule logs. Now, come race time, these things aren't so festive and friendly. They are just very, very hard. It's 4 telephone poles laid down on their side, about 2 feet in between them, completely unrideable. I mean, I suppose you could ride them, but definitely not in a race environment. They're very tight together. It makes for some quick steps. A pretty unique feature you have to familiarize yourself with before heading out on the rest of this lap. Picking up about halfway through the lap here after riders have already made their way up and down Mount Crumpet for the first of 2 times today on Saturday. They make their way here to this massively long sand pit in the middle of the corral. Now, it's not very deep sand, but it is very, very long, as you can see. There's a pretty good track established down the middle, but as riders try to make passes, come around on the outside and get into this deeper stuff, it could get pretty sloppy out here. All right, picking up here not far from the finish line. Riders make their way up to the top of Mount Crumpet and then down these very technical, very off-camber switchback corners. Now, you may remember this corner specifically from last year when Adam Craig made this thing famous doing his sick nose manual 180 turn. You may also remember this corner from last year when Jeremy Duran made it famous as he crashed his bike and went backwards tumbling down this hill slope. Now, it's not very often a downhill feature can have such an impact here in a cyclocross race, but this corner, specifically if it snows and this close to the finish line, it could make or break your race. Here now, just before the finish line, with what could be the most decisive feature on this course. Now, I know what you're thinking. Where's the feature? Well, it is this right here, this start-finish stretch. It is very difficult. It's about 400 to 500 meters long. It is dead flat. It is dead straight. It can be very fast, but it can also have a very strong headwind like we saw last year. Now, this thing could make or break those groups. If you come into here as a solo rider and there's a group behind you that is willing to work together to chase, those gaps are going to be a lot easier to close down than on the rest of this very technical, very twisty course. And if you come into the finish line with company, this is a very, very challenging sprint into a headwind very long. It's going to favor a guy like Ben Bairden last night with a strong kick. Gabby Duran here, your first ever Jingle Cross on day number 2. What do you think? How's the course? You staying warm? How you feeling?
It reminds me of Koppenberg in Belgium, actually. It's the descent's very similar to it, and there's lots of climbing. So I think it's going to be really tough.
How do you handle the really cold conditions here? It's below freezing, might get some snow today.
Yeah, I'm not the best in the cold weather, but I'll just get on with it. Wear lots of clothes, keep my fingers warm. So we'll see what happens.
Awesome. Good luck today.
Thank you.
Crystal Anthony here on day number 2 at Jingle Cross. How are you feeling after last night's very cold, very late night race?
I feel good, ready to go at it again today, and the course looks extra hard, so I'm looking forward to that.
How are the legs feeling? I know you've been struggling to try and ride where I know you want to ride. Can you pinpoint that? Does it come better on the second day sometimes? What are you thinking?
It's still kind of a mystery to me, but yeah, I've been feeling good. I just got to work on my starts recently. I've been lagging, but I felt good last night. Just, yeah, it's been a mystery this year.
Today's course gets a little more technical, a lot more elevation gain. Does that help you or hurt you?
I do like the climbing. I tend to do pretty well on that. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And the sand.
Yeah,
All right,
good luck
thanks.
today.
Yeah.
Courtney McFadden, a great ride last night. We're here less than 24 hours. How are you recovering? How are you feeling for today?
I feel pretty good, I think, maybe. We'll see. This morning was a little rough getting up out of bed, and my host house has some stairs, and that's how I always decide how I'm feeling. Initially, I was hurting, but as the days worn on, I'm feeling a little bit better and a little more awake. Maybe my coffee kicked in.
Today's course is a lot more challenging. Obviously, people are going to be racing even harder with the C1 points and money on the line. How does that change your approach for the day?
Well, I haven't been on course yet, so I don't know what it looks like. But my goal is to hopefully have not gone too hard last night and have some efforts to put in for the C1 today, since it's the big day, and do everything I can.
Cool. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, to the start line we go now. Day number 2 here at Jingle Cross. This is your UCI C1 event for the ladies. Now, you've heard me say it before. That means the big points here up for grabs. The big prize money is on tap today. And, of course, all the big names in North American cyclocross right here ready to get underway. Now, into the pedals there. In the black kit on the left of your screen, that's Gabriella Durin. A very quick start for her. We did not see her last night, so she was saving her legs here for the C1. A little fresher for today, but it will be Caroline Moniz, a French woman, going to lead us here onto the first corner. She will take your whole shot. Amanda Miller there, Boulder Cycle Sport. Second wheel looks like Katarina Nash there. McFadden, Miller right on Nash's wheel. Mani is right on the front. Looks like a couple of the young U23 women getting a great start as well as they make their way into this, the switchbacks. We talked about it earlier today. This thing is going to be very decisive today, very technical. Again, the camera just does not do the angle of this thing justice. We're talking 45-degree slopes here, incredibly tricky, and the setup here is really difficult as you see Caroline Mani there tripod a bit, get a foot out to make her way down safely. Now, unlike last night where there was a lot of drafting on this course, we saw a lot of group racing staying together today with the 2 trips up Mount Crumpet, with the giant sand pit that you're seeing right now. This course is going to be a lot more, it's just going to be a lot more challenging. It's going to favor the individual pursuit versus riders staying on each other's wheel and being able to work together. So here you see already things starting to split up a bit. Magali Rocher, your recently crowned U23 Continental Champion back in Cincinnati a couple weeks ago, having a good ride to sit inside the top 5. All right, one more time now, safely down the switchbacks there for Katarina Nash. This, of course, guys, this is the UCI C1 event. There's no messing around. You saw last night a little bit more tactical battles there where some riders may be saving their legs a bit, not going all out there off the line. Today, every single one of these women is going to be 100% committed from the start. They need those points. A lot of them really need that prize money as well. That helps make the season with all the C1s, the C2s. You add that together, we're talking many thousands of dollars in prize money. That can be the difference between being able to really make a career of this and not, as Caroline Mani over the flyover. Now we see 3 women together. So Miller a little slow there back into the pedals, but Mani, Miller, and Magali here, all 3 riding very strong, still in contention for those podium spots. 3 laps to go now. 3 laps to go as they make their way down the other side of Mount Crumpet. Like we said, they're going up not once, but twice today. This may very well be the most elevation gain in a single 50-minute race that the elite women will see all year long. Rochester had quite a bit of climbing as well, but Jingle Cross here might just top that. Interesting, when you think of Iowa, you obviously don't think of a very climbing-heavy state, but they really do a lot here at these at the Johnson City Fairgrounds to really add a lot of elevation as they make their way now through the Champion Systems Christmas Barn. Again, guys, Champion Systems putting up the overall winner's jersey. They take points from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So the best all-around woman and man, not just in the elite fields, but in the amateur fields as well, will get that overall jersey thanks to Champion Systems. Courtney McFadden, she's going to be in contention for that as well. Second place last night and sitting second place today on the day number 2. And then we get our battle here for third. So Miller, Mani, and Magali Rocher, all 3 still sticking wheel to wheel to wheel. That's really the battle. No sign of a lot of these other women. Gabriella Durin not really in contention right now after the start. Amanda Miller, all these ladies back there fighting inside the top 10. But right now the battle, it's down to about 4 or 5 riders that still are in contention for that podium. I don't think anybody, though, is still in contention for the win here. Nash, this is going to be totally up to her, guys. If she can stay clean, if she can stay safe out on this course, she looks to have this one completely under control. Yeah, so just getting a look at the size of that gap there. Courtney McFadden, very strong, but still it's looking like maybe 15 or 20 seconds here already with only a few laps to go. And Katarina, she knows how to manage a gap off the front. Like we've said over and over again, guys, she is undefeated since Cincinnati. She took 2 big wins there, 2 big wins last week in Louisville, a very strong start to her season where she looks ahead to the World Championships, which will come to her home country in the Czech Republic in early 2015. So she's got a little extra incentive to get on some top form here this cyclocross season. All right, with just 1 lap to go now, on to the barriers. Bib number 1, that's the Lunatic rider. You see there as we cut back to the course here. Now it's getting interesting. So silver medal here, changing positions a little bit as Caroline Monty for Raleigh Clement riding the wave of success that team had last night with Ben Bairden and Jamie Driscoll going 1-2 in the men's race. As you can just see, glances over the shoulder there. This gap, though, is opening up very quickly. So McFadden maybe a little too eager early on, trying to stay with Katarina, paying the price now in these closing laps. Katarina's going to come through here. She will see the finish line. She will see nobody on her wheel, but that battle is going to be very interesting as we await second or third. So day number 2, C1, the champion, Katarina Nash. And look at this, that gap has continued to open. So Caroline Monty, a huge ride for her here. Second place on the day. Courtney McFadden, another strong start to her weekend, though. Second place last night. She will take third on the day. Magali Roche, Katarina's teammate there with the Lunatics, just off the podium today. A solid ride for fourth.
Magali, C1, 4th place on the day. How was it?
It was great. The course was really, really hard. And I felt great today, so I was just going for it. And Caroline got me on the last lap. I thought we were going to end it in a sprint, but she got me on the last lap. So I'm super happy with fourth. Couldn't go faster, and it's my best C1 result, so I'm thrilled.
As a Canadian, this is like summertime for you, right?
Oh, summertime. I had my bikini all morning. I'm just wearing that to look good, but honestly, it's no, actually it's cold. It's same temperature as home probably at the same time, so it's good. I like it.
You excited for a third day?
I'm excited. I'm hoping we're gonna have snow tomorrow on the course. That would be exciting. What do you like snow?
I have the fever.
Yeah, you have the fever. I can see it. I can see it in your eyes.
All right, nice job.
Thank you.
Caroline Monty, another big finish there. How was that?
Oh, it's painful. I can barely breathe right now. Wow. Yeah, I had a pretty strong finish. I'm pretty happy about it. I just tried to be consistent. And I don't know, I felt pretty good at the end. I think people were fading a little bit. I don't know. I just didn't give up. I wanted the second spot, so I just tried.
How was the course in these conditions? Really cold out there, a lot more technical, more climbing than yesterday?
Oh, the cold doesn't bother me. Proof I'm not wearing any leg warmer. But it's a pretty hard race because you have this long climb and then you go down and you go up again. And it's pretty technical. So yeah, that was pretty tough, but it's awesome. It's a nice race.
A couple weeks ago in Cincinnati, you only raced 2 days there because you didn't race the Continental Championships, not a North American rider. Are you ready to go for a third day in a row here?
Yeah, 2, 3, 4, whatever. We have to do it. So I'm glad I had a good race today. That was really important for me, the C1, trying to get back on the top UCI ranking. So I'm pretty happy. And tomorrow is just the last day, the last race before I'm leaving the country for 3 months. So I'm excited about it and sad to leave. So it's good.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Katarina, you've been very, very good these last couple weeks. Keep the undefeated streak going. Another C1. How was it?
It was great. Yeah, the course was really good today. I like the long hill, and it was a nice way to warm up in the race. And yeah, I've had a good run so far. I hope the fans aren't getting tired of me, but it doesn't get boring to win, so I'm gonna keep doing it as long as I can.
So we just talked to Caroline Monty. It was the same situation where you only raced 2 days in Cincinnati, so this will be your first 3-day weekend of the year. How are you feeling going into a third day here?
I feel good, a lot better today. Just the temperature was a little bit better, and yeah, I just felt more like I was racing yesterday. It was kind of a survivor, so yeah, I'm excited. I think it's going to be another hilly course tomorrow, so yeah, we'll see.
As a former cross-country skier, Olympian, Winter Olympian, I mean, did the cold conditions bother you at all? I know we were talking about your hands were really cold, things like that.
No, I can manage, I definitely am getting a little bit more sensitive with my hands and my feet. You just don't move as much on the bike, ski racing was never that cold. I mean, it was colder, but you just kind of warm up the whole body. So I'm just trying to be a little bit smarter about choosing, gloves and all that.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Jeremy Duran, day number 2 here, although we didn't see you last night. Where were you and how you feeling for today?
Last night I was out to dinner with my wife Gabby and enjoying the warmth. I came out to the course earlier in the day and my fingers where I had frostbite last year were really acting up, so I didn't want to risk it last night with today being a C1, and yeah, I wanted to stay warm and get a good night's sleep before today.
So tell me, I mean, yeah, if you have frostbite once and those fingers, but they never really come back as they once were, how do you try and combat that on a day like today where it's still going to be below freezing?
Yeah, I'm going to just go over the top today. I mean, at Bend I went over the top and my hands still suffered, but today I'm going to embrocation on my fingers, little heat packs, double gloves, invested in some better gloves this year. So yeah, we'll see what happens. No matter what, it's freezing cold and it's just a matter of how you, adjust to it during the start of the race. So we'll see.
So legs are good. You had some good rides in the last couple of weeks. Tell me about what you expect going into today.
Yeah, I'm shooting for a top 5 today. I mean, my legs are feeling good. It's just putting it all together on a tough course like this. No mistakes. Louisville, I was able to put it all together and not crash, not flat, nothing. So if the same thing happens today, I'm expecting a top 5, and yeah, should be good.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Stephen Hyde here on Saturday, the big C1. How you feeling, man? You had last weekend off, right?
Oh yeah, I've had a couple of weeks off. We put on the CycleSmart race a couple weeks ago. Feel fresh, feel good. Been training, been hanging out. Spent some good quality time with all my friends. Ready to race.
So you've got this big Europe trip coming up here. I know if you're not fit already, you're definitely going to be fit for that. So how you feeling today, the C1? I know you're just racing one day this weekend just because you're trying to get ready for that. You feel like you got a good ride in your legs?
Absolutely. Yeah, I've been saving it up for this. So, course conditions are really good. Bikes are super dialed in. I'm here with Aspire and Rafa Focus, so it's everything's to my advantage today. So
the course here is really challenging, but maybe the most challenging thing is just going to be the temperature. It's going to be below freezing. The word is there might be some snow for your race. When you hear temperatures like that and conditions like that, does that excite you, or you not love that stuff?
It doesn't exactly excite me, but it does invoke something in me. Yeah, it'll be fine. I'm okay with cold weather. I think it's fine. Yeah, I am from Florida, and I'm not used to it, but I've been living in New England for long enough that I'm okay.
Right,
yeah.
Good luck today, man.
Thank you.
Ben Bairden, day number 2 here, the big winner last night. How you feeling?
Pretty okay, I think. I think it's normal that you feel sore, but I'm doing okay. Yeah.
How are you racing? Last night was so cold. Was it harder to recover from that effort, just given the conditions?
I think an evening race is always hard. It takes a long time to wind down, and I fell asleep like 1, I think. So, and now at 2:45 is a new race, so it's not many hours in between, but I think it will be okay.
So, of course, today is a little more climbing, a little more technical. Guys like Jeremy are here. What do you do to ensure that you're in that front group?
Just always the same. You have a fast start, and then try to set in second or third wheel, and then try to hold on as long as you can.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the start line now. Your elite men here, the Category 1 UCI race. You're going to see a lot of shivering bodies on the start line. That is because the temperature here continues to drop, and that is not a mistake. You guys can see it on your screen. The snowflakes are here. That snowstorm we talked about all morning has finally materialized as we get underway. It's the red, white, and blue there. Your stars and stripes of the national champ, Jeremy Powers, going to look to get quick to the front of this bike race. But no, it's the development team rider with Powers' name on it, Stephen Hyde, who's going to lead us here onto the grass, lap number 1, bib number 8. He's got the U23 national champ, Logan Owen, right there, Jeremy Duran, Jeremy Powers. Then last night's winner, Ben Bairden and Jamie Driscoll. So an interesting mix here at the front of the race of riders who did race last night, guys like Driscoll and Baird. And then you got a lot of guys here at the front as Powers makes his way down this switchback. Zach McDonald, a lot of these guys did not race. So again, some fresher legs out there are going to make for an interesting dynamic here with the big points, the big money up for grabs. Logan Owen pushing the pace early on as he dismounts through the barriers. Jeremy Powers going to ride them very clean, as will Zach McDonald. Then Duran, Hyde, and Driscoll. So Driscoll right where he likes to be, just sort of dangling off the lead chase group there as they make their way down Mount Crumpet for the first of 2 times and through this, a very, very long sandpit here through the corral, Jingle Cross, day number 2. So Hyde sitting very strong. Driscoll there. No sign of Ben Bairden. So again, one of those riders that raced last night. Ben with the big win last night, maybe smoked himself just a little too much here to go up against some of these fresher riders. But look at this, Logan Owen here getting very aggressive on the front as Jeremy Powers makes a little mistake. We talked about it, guys, the changing conditions here with the snow. So that corner, it may have been riding a certain way in your pre-ride laps. Now, every single time around, this course is going to change. The corners are going to get slicker. The lines are going to be different. You see Jeremy Duran there struggling a bit as well. Even Adam Craig having to put a foot out there. So Adam Craig, one of the best bike handlers in this field, if he's struggling with it, and then of course he's got to go and throw the nose manual. So Adam Craig still with some sick style. But again, guys, this course is treacherous today. Already hard packed and frozen. Now it just continues to get even more so. Now Powers back on the front of the bike race. He's looking for redemption after suffering a loss last weekend in Louisville at the C1 there at the hands of Danny Summerhill. He makes his way now through that Champion Systems Christmas barn. Powers last week may have been a little bit under the weather. I heard some rumors about some equipment choices as well that maybe weren't super smart. He went with a smaller chain ring to try and actually ride one of the run-ups on course and maybe cost him a bit there in that sprint finish on that flat pavement run-in against Summerhill. But no Summerhill here. It is just the young Logan Owen who pushed that pace early, although now it looks like the gap's starting to open up quite a bit here, almost 15 seconds between Powers and Owen. Now Logan, he's going to have to worry about this rider coming from behind. It's Stephen Hyde, the Jam Fun rider, been riding so strong this year, took a huge UCI win already, day number 2 in Providence back in early October. So you know he's on some good form. He's about to head over to Europe actually, so he is right now looking to try and reach maybe not the peak of his fitness, but pretty darn close to it. What an awesome shot here. So the snow coming down, the red, the white, the navy blue of the Rafa Focus rider, Aspire Racing Zone, Jeremy Powers. Now a great way to show that gap here. You see Powers is already long gone out of the picture, and it is Stephen Hyde. So Stephen Hyde has come through past Logan Owen, a huge upset. This guy, Stephen Hyde, I mean, if you're from New England, maybe the Southeast, you've heard of him in the past, but really just jumped onto the scene last year out of nowhere. We went and we saw him, I think it was Charm City, where he took that big UCI win, beating the then national champion Jonathan Page. A knee injury, though, taking Hyde out for most of the second half of last season. So this year, really catching a lot of guys off guard, but a lot of people in the know knew that this guy was going to be good. I didn't know he was going to be this good, though. Right now, second place on the day for the C1, but here we go. Logan Owen, and a very talented bike racer. I was going to say equally talented, but when you put the resumes side by side, it's hard for anybody to compare with Logan Owen, a 9-time consecutive national champion from the junior field all the way up into the U23 ranks. He's going to be looking for another UCI podium here this weekend. Look at this now, Powers. Look, I think he just pulled his face mask up. So again, guys, the temperature continuing to drop. You can clearly see it here on this start finishing stretch, just the difference that only 50 minutes has made here. That snow is really starting to accumulate. The temperature is dropping. We have a race on our hands right now for second and third. No sign of those chasers fighting for the podium. Jeremy Duran was still in there, we believe. Alan Krugoff having some tough luck today as he falls outside of the top 5. We'll wait, maybe we'll see a glimpse of those guys, but right now the heat is on at the front of this bike race. A podium at a UCI C1 event. This is the highlight for a lot of guys' seasons. When you, when you talk about goals, it really comes down to the national championships, the UCI C1s, maybe the continental championships for some of the younger riders, but this is one of the biggest days of the year. And ladies and gentlemen, back on top, the king has returned. Jeremy Powers, your national champ, one hand in the air, a huge win for him. That's going to send him on some good mojo as he heads over to Europe now for these next 2 World Cups. Stephen Hyde, second place on the day, the silver medal. He heads over to Europe now as well, not to focus on the World Cups, but some of the smaller, the Super Prestige, the GVA races. He is going to be very strong over there. Logan Owen, another Category 1 podium for the young Cal Giant rider. And then here he is, ladies and gents, the diesel engine himself. So maybe just a little bit tired from that effort last night, but still coming through very well here on a very challenging course. Jamie Driscoll going to go 4th on the day, and then it's the Iceman himself, Brian Motter, 5th place. He's going to round out your top 5.
Logan Owen, another big C1, another big ride from you. Looked like you got firing right off the line.
Yeah, I came out hoping to hit the hill first and really make a big attack there on the first lap. Really try to separate it out and kind of just get it down to me and Jeremy. And we did that, and he started pulling through more than he did at Louisville, and he was putting me in the box, and finally he just kind of rode away from me. I didn't have as good of legs as I did last weekend, and yeah, I was just trying to hold off Steven, and then he caught me, and he pulled a gap, and I closed it, and we were together, and then had a little bit of a mechanical coming off the hill last lap, and he just rode away, and I just tried to stay away from Jamie on the way in, and yeah.
So I know you love cross, but as a guy who's so good at road or cross, I mean, you look at Denny Summerhill, a guy like that who's kind of stopped the season by now. When you get out here in these super cold conditions in the snow, do you still love cross? Do you still want to focus on this as your primary thing, or does this discourage you at all?
Oh, no, I love the snow, and yeah, okay, I got to go.
Thanks, Stephen Hyde, second place, behind Powers. That's like almost like winning. How was that today?
It's great. I let Powers win, and it was fine. Yeah, no, it was awesome. This is, I don't think I've ridden in these conditions since Nationals in Madison, which was my first year. So it was a bit of a surprise. But I've been training, off-road a lot, so it's paying off, obviously.
How does a day like this, I mean, obviously winning is winning, a big day in Providence, but to come out here against some even bigger competition and pull off a second place, and to really come from behind, I mean, you weren't just second all day, you had to fight for that. How was that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's something that I've really been preparing for. I mean, I don't know if you know much about, if anybody else knows much about my history, but I've been a day two kind of person, and I've worked very, very hard on my opening up and getting ready to race on a single day to get ready for Europe. Which I'm leaving on Tuesday. So this was a huge, huge preparation for me. I'm super happy about the outcome.
Yeah, I mean, what does this mean? I mean, to have this sort of accomplishment before going over to Europe, that's got to be a big sort of check off the list in terms of your career progress.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at home, and I've got my chalkboard, and on it's a podium of C1. So that's checked off. The next thing on my list is go to Europe. So yeah, we're right on schedule.
All right, dude. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Jeremy Powers, this is borderline epic. I don't use that word a lot, but this was some epic conditions, big C1. How was that?
Yeah, it was definitely, it was cold today. Really good course. It actually changed throughout. It's a classic cyclocross race. The weather started right when we started, and it just started coming down, snow. And as the course deteriorated a little bit, it got really slippery, and a lot of these corners became about half speed. So it was crazy to be out there racing, and then to have the course change as much as it did. But I felt great, and yeah, it was a good ride for me.
You've had a lot of good races here, a lot of good battles here in the past. Tell me about going with Logan there for a little bit. How'd you eventually get away?
Yeah, Logan's riding strong. He rode really hard first two laps. I wasn't in the box, but I was definitely I was at my limit, and I noticed he was having some trouble on the steep section there on is it Mount Crumpet? Mount Crumpet, and so on the third lap I hit it a little bit, and I got 5 or 10 seconds, and then I just extended from there. So yeah, it was good.
So this is the last race in the U.S. for you before going over to Europe, and really before a long stretch of World Cups coming into Nationals. Tell me about what do you expect in this next block? You already got your top 10. What's coming up? What's it going to take for us to see a happy Jeremy Powers come back from Europe?
I'm always happy. I think if I can definitely do some more top 10s, if I can do a good race in Coxside, it's a really hard track, and a really hard track for me. So to be able to do something there, really any more top 10s that I'm able to get at the World Cup level, I'm going to be really happy with. And, come back here and then try to defend my title and then have a good World Championships.
How about Stephen Hyde?
Oh man, that's actually a bigger deal for me today. He guest rode with the team this weekend, and so to have him here this weekend and to have him be able to get second place and just put a lot of energy into him, and then see that energy turn into a good ride for him, I think is really good. So taking some stuff off his plate and putting him to the next level, it's kind of even bigger victory for me. So
congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, guys, so that is a wrap. That was just awesome. That was one of the coolest races that we have had in a long, long time. The snow starting to come down right there at the beginning of the men's race. The women's race was on fire. Just an all-around awesome weekend here at Jingle Cross. And it's still not over. We still have another day to go. Katarina Nash was so good again today. Courtney McFadden also very, very good today. And then in that men's race with the snow coming down, the conditions, you saw them changing throughout the race. Jeremy Powers again putting on a clinic here. Forget about Louisville last weekend. That was a little hiccup along the road. He is back. He is back on top. And then you heard him say it himself, almost more impressively today. Really, the story is Stephen Hyde coming in here for the C1 ahead of that big European trip and doing so well. So, guys, All the racing was awesome. The course is awesome. It actually is beginning to look a lot like Christmas here. Happy Jingle Cross to you guys, for myself, Cole McElwain, for all of the crew here at BTB TV. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you guys with another episode tomorrow.